Hello, I am Coach Vuyanzi, TEDx speaker and certified holistic executive life and career coach. Welcome to the second annual Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. This event is brought to you by M.A.P.S Global Events, a nonprofit organization in collaboration with our sponsors, an international community of holistic wellness experts. Everyone should take advantage of this free membership to gain access to our empowering events, resources, and a wellness library with 200 plus expert presentations. Visit mapsglobalevents.com for free enrollment.
And hi, I'm Simon Hodgkins, the founder of the Think Global Forum, the Think Global Awards, and editor-in-chief of VTQ magazine. We are your hosts for this portion of the opening ceremony for this epic 7-day international wellness event. You are about to hear several compelling stories of challenge, devastation, perseverance, endurance, and survival.
You will also hear from some of the world-class experts who will provide insight on what you can expect this powerful week-long event. But first, we start by acknowledging the loss and devastation that took place on September 11th, 2001.
The world will never be the same. I almost feel guilty again when I think what happened on that day. Emotions still the same. I try to imagine if I was there looking up at the collapsing towers, knowing so well what I do now about those fateful hours. Years after the moment I went to sea to stand where many died. Somber and thoughtful, I bowed my head. Inevitably, I cried. It's hard to understand the meaning. What was justified to some, tragedy to everyone else. But it happened, and it's done. So my guilt in watching the sunrise is balanced now with love. My love for all my fellow man. Women, child, enough. We are all a part of this incredible world, each to play our part. Mine is not to forget, my friend. That is my tomorrow start.
Hello, my name is Tony Lucero, and I am an activation expert helping businesses and people just get to the next level in their life. And I'm so honored to be here with you to begin this journey over the next few days with some amazing facilitators and amazing teachings and a chance for you just to connect with an amazing community. And before we do that though, 9/11 has been one of those events in our lives that we've experienced that really affected all of us. And before we start this event, we want to just take a moment with some music and some deep feelings and thoughts and really send out some loving, healing energy to all those that were affected by 9/11, directly or indirectly. We were all affected by it. But all the first responders, the fire department, the police, the people that have lost their lives, lost family members, we want to honor you before we begin this event. So sit back and enjoy, relax. You can close your eyes, whatever you want to do. But this is your time just to spend that moment remembering all of those that were impacted by 9/11. Enjoy. Namaste. Have an amazing event.
Mother Teresa said, "We only surrender our body in death. Our heart and our soul live forever." Hello, I am Brandon Sugar, M.A.P.S Global Events Board Member and former Army Sergeant. I served 6 years in the United States Army and deployed once to Afghanistan and once to Iraq. I am honored to be a part of an international organization that has a mission of uniting people in wellness, peace, and prosperity. Thank you for pausing with us as we remember all those impacted by the devastation of 9/11. Now we move on to the next portion of our show, but know that we will never forget.
Hello, I'm Bill Phillips of Bittner Phillips Partnership here in Ireland. I've been coaching people and training coaches for more than 30 years now. And my main coaching toolkit is Advanced Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP. Phobia. Getting over a phobia and finding peace does not have to be long, scary, or difficult. It can be quick and totally painless. You may even get to laugh and keep the useful part of the phobia, especially if one day it could save your life. What would it be like if you or someone you know could leave this vibrant living summit relaxed, happy, and free of a phobia you or they arrived with?
Hi, this is Kathy Barrow, Artistic Director of Arts Music, and we are dedicated to putting the pizzazz back into classical music. I hope you can join us on the 11th of September because we will be doing something new and different with the background behind us for Mozart and Gershwin. Look forward to seeing you then.
Hi everybody, my name is Katarina Gimre and I'm from Sweden. I'm a health coach and I help people restart their life. And I will talk about the horse as a healer. And I will do that at the M.A.P.S event in September. I'm so excited and I am wishing for you to have with you great nuggets from this event that you can bring with you the rest of your life. Thank you and see you there. Bye bye.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Annelie Dresen from the International Metaphysical Academy in Canada. At this beautiful global event, I will be sharing with you some secrets that I learned as a therapist, coach, and metaphysician that will inspire you, affirm you, make you think, and will make your life just a little bit easier. So I'll see you then.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be interviewing Susan Slawson. Now, listen, her story is even too juicy for me to begin giving you a summary about. So, Susan, we'll turn it over to you and we'll ask you to start us off with a quote.
So, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to just having this conversation with you. And my quote is, "Behind the clouds, there's a sun, because storms pass, they end."
Susan, I want you to introduce your story by telling us, what was that cloud that you had to overcome?
So my cloud was a 14-year-old having sex one time, getting pregnant, and not even realizing that I was pregnant for about 3 months. And so it was a whirlwind, and my mother just happened to be pregnant with my brother at the same time. My brother and my daughter are 3 months apart. I was entering high school, 9th grade, a freshman, and it was one of the most difficult, embarrassing, painful moments of my life. It was a dark time for me because, and back in the 90s, in the 70s, in the 80s, it was a big deal still if you got pregnant as a teen. So I had my daughter in 1976. People weren't kind. People did not make you feel like you were welcomed, even though you made a decision that wasn't a good decision, honestly, at that time. And so family, friends, my next door neighbor, he was my best friend. His parents didn't allow him to sit on my steps anymore. You know, I went to school up until, actually, I got up to go to school the last day before I was going to stay home, and I was in labor. The morning I was getting up to go to school to catch the bus. But it was just a devastating time because life just turned upside down for me. I had to figure out, my mother had to help, my dad had to help, my stepdad left when I was 16. So it was my mother and my daughter and my brother. And I had to finish high school. I think about high school now, I realized I was so depressed. Nobody knew. And when I look back, I don't think that I realized that I was depressed. So it's a time where you need people around you to love you, to talk to you, to say, are you okay? And as wonderful as my mother is, she didn't do that. People didn't do that. People really kind of scorned me more than they loved on me. But I have a wonderful 46-year-old daughter who's married with her son. It was tough. I had to go to school. I had to finish school. I started working. I honestly started working when I was 8 years old. My grandparents were sharecroppers. And so I lived with my grandmother till I was 5. I moved up here with my mother because financially, my mother wasn't able to take care of me. Because guess why? She was a teen mom. So you would think that I would have gotten a little more grace, but I didn't. And so I worked in the tobacco fields from the time I was 8 until the time I was 15. I was on the back of a truck at 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. from 8 to 15. And that was my life. I realized I was pregnant when I was in North Carolina. One of my aunts looked at me and said, "Girl, you look like you're pregnant." The light bulb didn't go off until then.
So we are hearing about those dark clouds. We know now that your daughter is a beautiful woman who has your grandchild.
Yeah.
Tell us about when things started to positively change for you in order to get you to this amazing woman that we see before us today.
At 21 years old, I was living, I got to give you another dark cloud first.
Okay.
I moved out, was living with a guy, moved out so he could move in with me, stayed out for 3 months because he was crazy, he was abusive, moved back home. Oh yeah. And someone mentioned to me about Christ. That's when my life turned around, honestly. 21, I decided, you know what, this isn't working. What I'm doing right here is not working. I decided to take another route and say, let me do something different. I started going back to church. I started changing my thinking. I started hanging out with people that were going in a different direction, where there was more integrity, there were more morals, there was a focus, and it wasn't so much on just what was going on out in the streets. There was a focus on God. That's really what turned my life around. There was a major pivot for me when I said, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Let's find, and you know what? My daughter was 7 when that happened. And I believe that her life turned out to be a lot more positive. She made better decisions because I was making better decisions. And so at 21, my life turned around. I became a manager at a bank. 25, I joined the police department, retired, as a matter of fact, as a lieutenant with the police department. I was the face of Philadelphia for 7 years. I was in charge of public affairs for the city of Philadelphia. And so when I say that, yep, there's some sun behind those clouds and storms in, you gotta wade through those things. you have to make some decisions to get from underneath those clouds. They don't just disappear. Let me say that. I had to make some decisions to say, you know what, I'm going to start doing some things differently. And then when I did that, the sun started appearing.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned you had to change your thinking, and now I'm hearing you talk about decisions. Can you tell us how your thinking changed once you did go the route of Jesus Christ being in your life?
You know, I realized that, one, that I was okay. You have to realize that there's something good in you, because people will have you think, because you make wrong decisions, because you made wrong choices, that something's wrong with you and that's going to be your plight for life. That's not the case. You make a decision and it's wrong, you get up and you just try it all over again. You do something different. So I had to make some different decisions that were positive in spite of what had happened. You can't stay there. You have to press and say, yeah, that's what I did. That's not who I am. And so when you make your mind up that who you are is okay, regardless of the mistakes that you've made, right? You start making decisions, and what people think about you cannot be the determining factor on your life. The mistakes that you made cannot be what's going to cause you to be who you are, because if that's the case, you never move.
Wow. I hope the people in the back are hearing this, that you first had to start with your own thoughts about yourself. And that is phenomenal. Tell us briefly, what are you doing now, Susan?
So right now, I manage the Dell Music Center, which is an outdoor amphitheater. As a matter of fact, I just left and got off the elevator with Kim. How about that? Yeah, just had a conversation with Kim. So I started my own business about 5 years ago after I retired. In 2008, see, this is what happens when you start thinking and believing that there's nothing you can't do, because the reality is, if you put your mind to it, you can. And that's what I want young people to know. And that's what I want people that are in their 40s and 50s and feel like they're still stuck. Doesn't matter how old you are, you can. Because those clouds, behind them, there is some sun. Storms do end, but there's some things you have to do to make those storms end. And so to answer your question, I retired from the police department. The mayor at the time, Michael Nutter, pulled me over as this 14-year-old pregnant girl who had a baby at 15, the recreation commissioner for the city of Philadelphia. How about that? Yeah.
Amazing.
It truly is. And so as in that position, one of my responsibilities, besides 70 plus pools, parks, playgrounds, just a whole host of over 400 employees, I had the Dell Music Center. The venue was closed when I got here. The mayor charged me to get the venue open and up and running. And so in 2009, I had a $7 million project. It opened in 2009, 2010. It opened under a cloud because there was some things that were going on there prior to me coming that, people didn't want to come anymore. Artists didn't want to come anymore. Customers didn't want to come anymore. So we had to build up the trust. We had to get people to believe in us again. And we did. And now we have sellout concerts. Yeah.
Well, I think we all know we all have to take a trip to Philly right now. And really quickly, as we're closing out our session together, can you tell us what you're doing now or how people can get in touch with you?
Yes. So the Dell Music Center here in Philadelphia would love for you all to come here to visit. It's July and August. Any artists that you possibly would love to see, we probably have them there. I actually am an instructor also. I teach for Cardinal Point. We teach people that are school resource officers that are going into schools, and they have to have this training. It's mandatory training. So I teach a class. I'm on the Civil Service Commission for the city of Philadelphia. And because I was able to start my own business, I got this contract as a general manager for the Dell Music Center. You can get a hold of me at SueSlawson96@gmail.com. Again, that's SueSlawson96@gmail.com.
Oh my gosh, it has been my pleasure to have interviewed you today. We'll see you in Philly. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alaknanda Pramanik from India. I am an author, master storyteller, speaker, lovingly known as Supermom. I am honored to be part of M.A.P.S event and looking forward to it. What is driving me to participate in this event is my ability to inspire people positively with my stories. I help people see their own story in new light and experience a healing paradigm shift. By the end of the event, you will walk away with a sense of sparkle and self-belief that you matter, your story matters.
Can you feel the excitement in the air? Oh my gosh, it's time. We're stepping into this event. We are honored to be a part of it. I'm Jenny Rice from Your Holistic Earth. And the reason we've aligned with this event to be a sponsor for a day is because it aligns with our mission and vision with our company. And that is to provide accessibility and resources to people seeking wellness in their mind, body, and soul. And that's exactly what this event is about, is making a space for people to connect, to learn, to grow, and become proactive in their wellness. And we are honored to be a part of it.
Hey, Fiona Brennan here from Inspire Action Success. I am so delighted to be taking part again in M.A.P.S global events this September. I will be sharing with you steps and tools to empower yourself to be the best version you can possibly be and live the most amazing life that you choose. See you all September 11th.
So hi, it's great to be joined by Mark Deeks, that piano guy. Mark, maybe we could start by you sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do. Maybe give us a bit of a background and introduction to Mark Deeks.
Background to Mark Deeks. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, essentially, music and me go hand in hand, and specifically the piano. I've been playing piano since I was 5 years old, and I'm almost 45, so it's been a while. And you know, like I guess many other kids, we start playing an instrument when you were young, and you know, get hauled off to piano lessons or whatever it might be. But there was never any pressure. I was just sort of given a chance to sort of see whether I took to it. I seemed to be kind of fascinated with the piano that was in the house and getting a sound out of it. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say. I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail. But for me, you know, music is an absolute obsession. If I'm not listening to it or writing it or arranging it or working as a musical director or teaching it or whatever, I get a bit grumpy. So music must be present at all times, wherever possible. So yes, my passion really is helping others to access music, be that in whatever form of hobby that they want it to be or professionally, and to make sure that people can get involved with music and not have a lot of the barriers that people think are in their way. And when people are told they're not musical as a child, that's my red flag. Off I go.
I think it's your record collection in the background that's a bit of a giveaway, is it, Mark?
I mean, it goes much further down that wall, and there are kind of spare piles and stuff. Yeah, so
very good.
That's a bit of an addiction too.
Well, look, you're involved in the M.A.P.S global event that's coming up, and I wanted to ask you maybe if you could share maybe a little bit about why you're involved, maybe touch on any challenges and any sort of aspects of you know, what you've done to help cope in times of challenge, and also maybe a little bit about, you know, the importance of this sort of theme, you know, this vibrant living that we're talking about with this event. So maybe over to you, maybe to share a little bit about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've sort of come at this from a slightly roundabout way. So I don't come at what I do from any kind of medical background. I'm a musician at heart, and I always shall be. And whilst I work as a musician professionally, most of the people that I work with tend to be amateurs. I have coached many professionals over the years, people who've gone on to become professionals. But I think a lot of the kicks that I get and the fun that I have is when I'm working with people who have no ambitions whatsoever to access music professionally. They don't want to become concert pianists or, you know, tour the world as a singer. They just want to have 15 minutes chill out after work. as a way to unwind. And so I was teaching piano when I was 15, and kind of over the years, I've sort of started to observe the patterns that you get when you talk to adults who, you know, stand at parties and say, I've always wanted to play piano, but, and whatever the rest of that sentence is, you start to sort of pick up on what the reasons are that people aren't doing the things that they've always wanted to do. And I think it's a theme that you can compare to anything. So like, we all have things that we wish we were able to do, be it learning a language or a sport or a musical skill or whatever it is. And what is the mentality behind why we don't do it? And we prioritize other people commonly, and we prioritize our jobs, or we prioritize our families, and we don't give ourselves this little window of time just for ourselves. And so I went through years of, you know, teaching piano lessons one-to-one, and I knew that I enjoyed teaching adults more than kids, but adults would come to lessons and say, yeah, it's been really busy at work this week, and you know, and then Johnny had to do his rugby, and so you know, there was this thing going on at school, and there were all like 100 reasons why people weren't giving themselves just a little bit of time just for themselves. And I kind of got a little bit jaded with that over a while, because I thought, you know, I've got so much to give, and I know that I can fix these people's musical dreams. But if no one's going to sit at the piano, then we're not going to get anywhere. So what are we going to do? So I kind of like have mold different ways to deliver piano teaching, and I coach community choirs as well. I've done that for over 20 years as well. So the themes are still the same. If someone wants to have a musical hobby but then doesn't put any time into it, then none of us get anywhere, and we just end up getting frustrated and feeling a bit down about it. And it kind of feels like it cements this idea that someone isn't musical, or this idea that they'll never be able to do it because their fingers are too short, or whatever nonsense people tell themselves. So in recent years, I started to really decide I wanted to unpick these things and start knocking over these barriers and saying, right, why are the reasons that people don't do the things that they want to do? Almost like psychology and motivation, more than piano teaching. I know I can do the piano teaching. I want to get under the skin of why people don't do the things that they know would do them good. But this is not necessarily, as I say, because they want to become good at something. It's because they want to access the joy they think that it's going to bring. And when you start approaching these kind of hobbies from that angle, you realize that you're actually just talking about well-being. You're just talking about the things that people think that they or know that they should do to make themselves feel better and bring some joy into their lives, but don't do, because you start to realize that you're talking about the same language that people line up as excuses why they don't exercise. Why don't you exercise? Oh, well, you know, I was really busy at work, or, you know, so-and-so had to go to school and I had to get the kids to do this and blah, blah, blah. So if you haven't given yourself, you know, 20 minutes to go for a run, the conversation around that is probably the same conversation around why you haven't put aside 20 minutes to do something that you know is also going to do you good, but from a well-being perspective, like a mental well-being perspective, because the exercise is going to do your body good, and, you know, taking up a new hobby that's completely different from your work just for the fun of it is going to do your soul good. It's going to do your mind good. It's going to do your mood good. It's going to reduce stress. So I started to realize that the way that I approach piano teaching is actually in the same language that lots of people think of other aspects of their well-being, the importance of doing regular exercise, mindful activities, or morning routines, or yoga, or journaling, or breathing exercises. The kind of language and conversations that people have around these things about the importance of trying to fit them into your day and making it part of a regular thing, and micro habits, is exactly how I approach piano teaching. Not because we necessarily need to be good at it, because we just know that the act of doing it will be good for us in terms of our mental health, and how we feel about our stress, how we feel about ourselves, and how we feel about our stress levels, and how we feel about whether we're anxious about what's going on in the world. Just having 15 minutes away from that is really powerful, and that's why I want people to get involved with music. So once I realized this, I thought I just need to knock over the barriers that stop people doing that. Let's say we don't need to practice for hours a day. Let's say we just need 15 minutes. Let's say I never ever want you to call it practice. I want you to call it playing, because playing sounds like fun and practice sounds like work. Let's talk about what it's going to give you other than getting any good at it. Well, it's going to perhaps remind you of someone you love by playing a song that reminds you of them, because it reminds you of a time or a place that you were with that person. It could remind you of a gig you've been to, a song your granddad used to sing to you as a child. the song that was your first dance at a wedding, so it reminds you of your partner. There's a million different reasons that music can remind us of people and places and times. And when we prioritize that aspect of music and say that we're going to have a musical hobby for that end, not necessarily to be a concert pianist, but just to engage with music in ways that do our soul good and for reasons that we know will do our soul good, then suddenly people look at, do I have 50 minutes a day to learn piano, in a very, very different way? Because we're not adding a chore to the list. We're doing something that's just going to put a smile on your face. And there is value in that, regardless of whether we're any good at the skill or not. That comes gradually, but you can access the joy on day one. And that's really important, because people don't do the thing that they want to do because they think that it's going to take 20 years to get any good at it. And until they've got any good at it, it has no value. But when you start talking about it in terms of well-being, then we then realize that it has value straight away. So that's how I started really to approach music. And the reason that I then started to get very particularly personally invested in it is that I realized through my own challenge that I had. So in 2020, myself and my wife, we were midway through our first pregnancy, and we lost our child. My wife was 22 weeks pregnant. And it was, as crushing as that can, be imagined to be, and all the guilt that comes with that situation, and all the like depression and anxiety and panic attacks, and that eventually started to sneak up on me. And I was 7 or 8 months into trying to deal with this, because it also happened the week before the first UK lockdown. So we had like no support that we would normally have possibly had, or very little. Couldn't go and like hug our parents or anything. And I realized, 7 or 8 months later, when I was starting to have these real difficulties of my own, that I needed to use what I tell people to do, which is to turn to music in some way. And of course, I was surrounded by music 24/7 because it's how I make my living. But I wasn't engaging with it on a deeper personal level. And I knew that somehow music was going to have to play its role in me learning to cope with this situation. So I promised myself I would write an album of a particular style of music for many, many years. I'm a heavy metal fan, right? And I wanted to write a metal album, but I'm a piano player, and that's a different that's a different conversation, because piano's not necessarily very cool in metal land sometimes. But I wanted to make a particular kind of album, and I thought, I've got this time on my hands, but somehow I need to get this out of me, and somehow I need to use music to help me cope with the situation of what I'm going through. Some people might say, I really want to learn to write my own music. Some people will say, I really want to learn to play a couple of songs on the piano so I can sit at a party and entertain my friends, or play the song that I got married to, or whatever it is. Just a specific goal in 90 days. I'm the person who makes that happen, even if you've never played piano before. And that's what I do. So if you want to reach out to me, you can find me usually at Mark Deeks Music on most platforms, or the hashtag #ThatPianoGuy.
Thanks for sharing that, Mark, and thanks for being part of the Global Wellness and Positivity Experience, which is taking place again this year, September 11th through to the 17th. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Namaskar, I'm Squadron Leader Tulika Rani from India, an ex-Indian Air Force officer, mountaineer, international motivational speaker, and an author. My book, Beyond That Wall, Redemption on Everest, has recently been published from Delhi and was displayed in the world's 3rd largest and the Asia's biggest book fair, International Kolkata Book Fair, last year. Here, I would like to congratulate Elaine Sugar and her entire team for organizing this wonderful summit on mental health. So here we go with my poem, Into the Light. Upon the shattered pieces of my heart, I mourn the human nature. The human nature prone to attachments, seeking validation and belongingness, longing to be a part of somebody, something. To cling to that, what is supposedly ours. To draw sustenance from the fragile flowers, fragile as they are, all bonds we form, brittle like dew, now there, now gone. Fragile as they are, all bonds we form, brittle like dew, now there, now gone. Oh, the captive of self-bondage, bringing upon thy this misery and ache. The net I have woven around myself, so painful to cut it, thread by thread. And yet, this is what I shall strive to do, to free my soul from this worldly glue, renouncing the garb and retaining the core, to bathe in the light, divine and pure. Renouncing the garb and retaining the core, to bathe in the light, divine and pure. A light emanating from my deepest holes, to see beyond the shore. A journey to thee, the Master, O Lord, without any pain, without discord, because only a journey to the Master can be without any pain and without discord, without any questions. From you I was born, in you I resolve. With all good and bad, I was showered upon. Shine through me as you shine through all. Oh Lord, shine through me as you shine through all. Upon your child, let peace befall. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elaine, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the summit and to reach out to all the audience and all the other people who are a part of this summit today, and to the entire world through you. Thank you once again. Wish you good luck. Wish all of us and all the humanity good luck for the journey into the light. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Brad Yates, and I'm very excited that my friend Elaine Sugar has invited me back again this year to be part of the Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. It's a huge mega event online. It's free from September 11th through 17th. A lot of great speakers are going to come together to give you great ideas to help you tap into your innate superpowers and create an awesome life. And you deserve that. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Kim Welcome, inspirational singer, songwriter, speaker, and I'm so excited to be a part of M.A.P.S this year. Last year it was absolutely fantastic, and this year I will be talking about how you can supersede even reality through the power of your mind. And so I look forward to seeing you there. I would describe this event as expansive, as comprehensive, and transformative. So I hope to see you there.
Hi everyone, it's Dan Goodwin with CYA Consulting. Just wanted to drop a quick note to say how excited I am to be able to share during the second annual Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. My topic will be Think Like an Investigator, why you should enable others to enable their self-awareness and how to use their critical thinking skills. So thanks again. The best care you can take is self-care. When you are balanced, you can appear balanced in the world and help others. Look to see you there.
Hi there, my name is Leslie Evans of Rise of the Phoenix Healing, and I just want to congratulate you for taking this time for yourself to be part of the Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. There are so many heart-centered experts that are just waiting to share their knowledge and their magic with you, and I know you're going to leave this feeling inspired and hopeful, and with a few new tools and tricks in your toolbox to make life everything you want it. And I can't wait to share my secrets of connecting with self to manifest magic with you. We'll see you soon.
So hello, and hello, Aron O'Dowd. It's great to be talking to you. Aron, just to get us started today, could you maybe tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background? That would be most helpful.
Hi, my name is Aron O'Dowd. I'm kind of not your average person that you think about. And the reason why is because I have a curiosity to understand and become the being who I am. From the age of 7, I've had a visual impairment, which has restricted my vision with a condition called retina pigmentosa. If you place your hand into a fist, that's what's happening over a lifetime of me and in my vision. This does not stop who I am. This does not change who I am. It's just my physical component of adapting to the world. What does that adapting mean? That adapting means using a long cane, guide dog, bump-ons for wash machines, cookers, and asking people for help. Over the 24 years of being vision impaired, I've lived in 4 different continents: America, Asia, Europe. I've lived in Taiwan, America, Austin, Texas, and I've done 4 different styles of education: homeschooling, American schooling system, the European, and specialized school for the blind. And over the space of the time, I learned that we all have this curiosity to be and who we are, but living this higher performance component of what it is. So at the age of 17, I discovered a sport called rowing. And from 2007 to 2008, I moved from club level to international level and competed at my very first race. I was a newbie and I won that race in the under 18 event for Ireland. A couple of days later, I broke that record by 32 seconds. In the space of 8 years, that record has not been touched in that division in the British indoor rowing event. From that year, I moved to Europeans, to senior, and to World Championship indoor events. From that until 2014, I really did not understand what high performance was. I was an athlete who thought I could eat as much and sleep not enough and turn up to training and perform. I had an aha moment in 2014, realizing that there's much more to high performance. It's sleep, nutrition, food, and so on. In 2012, I decided to take a year out from jumping from high school to university and traveled through parts of Morocco, parts of Spain, and a friend who I did Reiki with in Dublin, who I did work experience with, she said, Aaron, there's this event in Los Angeles. Would you be interested in going? And I said, yeah, I would give workshops and Reiki on the Queen Mary ship. And over that couple of weeks, I spent 8 weeks meditating in Miami and Chicago in monasteries. And I met a guy named Matt Wolf, and he was a radio producer who was retired living in one of these monasteries. And he and I got chatting about different things from meditation to sport to radio to engineering and so on. And I got a curiosity to understand what podcasting was. I had listened to the radio and sport because that's my passion and what I do. So I went on to give to monastery in Chicago and then give my event in the Queen Mary ship in Los Angeles. And when I came back home to Ireland, I spent a year studying massage, anatomy, physiology, and that was the aha moment to understand really how does the body work? What's the anatomy? What's the alphabet of the body? And I really got a whole aha moment and light bulb moment of, okay, if this is how this muscle works, and this is how this system works, and this is how it all connects, this is really how the engine in the car comes. It's like a mechanic understanding the combustion engine, the transmitter, the brakes, and so on. And then after that year, I really got into podcasting, and I started my very first show called Sanseet. Sanseet is Sanskrit for true consciousness, and I spent the bones of maybe 4 or 5 years interviewing people in the area of holistic and spirituality. Then over that period of time, I really grew into this style of interviewing, listening, and figuring out what is an interesting and amazing podcaster. Then I went to move to another show, and then another show, and then another show. But what I kind of discovered in the space of being 8 years as a podcaster is that it's not about the person, in a sense that they come and they show, It's about what they're able to do. Yeah, I have my ups and downs, and yeah, I wish I could see at times. Yeah, I wish I could not have a visual impairment that will leave me blind in the space of the next decade or two. I have about 35% vision right now, and does it change who I am? No. Is life not the cards I was dealt? Yeah, I wish I was kind of dealt with a better pair of genes than the genes I have right now, but it's life. So what am I doing right now? I have an interest in blockchain, cryptocurrency, sport, food, technology, positivity, and using them to mesh them all together to create a space where I can perform and get to compete in the Paralympics, because the Paralympics is one of my goals that I set from the age of 17 when I won my very first race. And that was to be at that world stage, to push my body to the max, to figure out physically, mentally, and spiritually, how does it work? The same way a mechanic would get a Formula One car, adjust it, twist, tweak it, and then put it on the track to see how it performs. That's what I do. You're going to say, Aron, how can you perform if you have a visual impairment? In triathlon right now, which I'm the sport that I'm in right now, going from development to my first race to international level, and then after that, we'll see where it goes. I have a guy who swims with me, runs with me, and bikes with me. The swim, I swim side by side or behind him or in front of him. When I bike in a tandem. And when I run side by side with a string in my hands or on my waist. And this is what people do. You know, this is people who I know who are in my size of circumstance with a disability, don't see them having a disability. I'm about figuring out solutions, creating a lifestyle for me, and to show that, yeah, things may take a little bit longer. Yeah, things may be a bit more tedious. I may have injuries, I may have cuts, I may hit my head off stuff, but life still goes on. And that's kind of an idea of what my life is like. And I'm going to continue to succeed. I'm going to continue to build. And I've got some incredible ideas, some incredible projects, and people who are interested in me because I'm interested in them.
Great. Well, thank you, Aron. I mean, that's wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing a little bit about your journey, maybe a little bit about the challenges, and also a little bit about your mindset. Aron, it's an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Simon.
Hello everybody, my name is Aron O'Dowd. I live in Wales and I am a global leadership and master public speaking coach. And I'm going to tell you today about the global event, the M.A.P.S event, which is going to be taking part before long. I was very honored to take part in it last year when I talked about taming the tiger, how to live with daily chronic pain. And it was an honor, and I am now delighted to have been invited to be an ambassador for the event, and I'm very proud of this. And this year I will be talking about my new role, which is something I've trained for over the last year, which is as a well-being facilitator on films and television sets. So I'm delighted to be able to talk about this new project. It's a pioneering project throughout Wales, and I will be talking about how bullying and harassment, sexually harassment, or any other sort of harassment has an effect on people's mental health. So well done, Elaine and the team. You are fabulous. I love what you do, and I am overjoyed to be an ambassador for this event. And I encourage every single person who has an interest in mental health and well-being to take part because you will find something for everyone in this event. So come along and be there, and we'll see you on the event. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kim Yarbrough. If you're watching this video, congratulations, you've made it this far. It hasn't been an easy couple of years for anyone in this world of ours. All of us on a global level have experienced some degree of mental or emotional distress during these difficult times. That's why I'm encouraging you to join me at the 2022 Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. I'm excited to help kick off this 7-day event, singing at the opening concert on September 11th. And I'm confident there will be something during that week that will help you heal, rebalance, and reconnect to yourself. Best of all, it's virtual and absolutely free. Registration info will be provided at the end of this video. I'll see you there.
Greetings, my name is Tiffany Anisette Pringle. I am the founder of Inspire Consulting and Management Group. I am honored and excited to be a part of this year's Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. That's right, it is a 7-day event, and I will be one of the keynote speakers on September the 13th at 6:30 p.m. Please join us September the 11th through the 17th for this Global Wellness and Positivity Experience. You do not want to miss.
This has been an amazing, purpose-filled start to this week-long event. We must give a special thank you to all those who participated in the 9/11 tribute and those who allowed us to hear, learn, and gain inspiration from their stories.
Absolutely. You never know who you touch and encourage when you share your story. Well, this brings the first part of the opening ceremony to a close, but please don't go anywhere. Stay and enjoy the international flavor of eclectic musical performances filled with positive